And away we go.
All right, so what's in the news today?
Oh boy. Do I have news for you?
Okay, you said, oh boy. What's the news?
As of this recording, today is the day.
Today's the day.
The Canadian general election.
Okay, got you. Today's the day of the Canadian general election.
Yes.
So, okay, that's a big day for all Canadians. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's in the news for that?
So, regarding the polls and the betting odds, or at least who's going to be in, it's certain, without a doubt, it's going to be Mark Carney.
Okay, gotcha. And how's he doing?
And, well, Mark Carney's doing pretty decent, but the reason why he's doing pretty decent is because before Mark Carney was the leader of the Liberal Party, the odds had said that the Canadian Conservatives, if a Canadian general election was to be held, they would have gotten the most seats. Therefore, the Canadian Tories would have been the next Canadian government. And the reason for that is, back when Justin Trudeau was Liberal leader, and the opinion polls were not so kind to Trudeau, and it's gone so bad to the point Trudeau has announced his resignation from the party, causing a leadership race.
Oh,
And of course, you were saying?
I think you meant like resignation or something like that.
Yes, yes. I don't know why, but yeah. Leadership election for the Liberal Party happened. That's where Mark Carney was announced as new Liberal leader, and ever since Mark Carney became leader of the Liberal Party, opinion polls have now shown the Liberal Party as being the new favourites to retain the control of the Canadian Parliament by the time this election has already taken place.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. A day for Canada. And I will say this. Now, obviously the best man is going to win. And obviously I'm not going to say worst man is going to lose. But the best man is going to win. And whoever wins, I just hope that Canada believes that they made a right... I just hope that Canada, not even believes, I hope that they make the right decision in general. Based on past events and current events and just pretty much any event that caused their country to go downhill from the beginning. So, yeah, that's pretty much all you can say in regards to Canada. I just hope they make the right decision. That's pretty much it. Because honestly, it's a big decision, especially when you're voting for the next Prime Minister of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And, so pretty much this is either going to be a decision that you live to regret or a decision that you live to be proud of. I mean, just look at some people now. It's like, I think the majority of people in the United States don't regret voting for Trump, but there are some people who do regret voting for Trump, or regret voting for Kamala Harris, or don't regret voting for Kamala Harris. And so, yeah, it's like, but either way, these politicians aren't going to do a lot of things that you like, but they're also probably going to do other things that you do like. Pretty much, in a way, people operate on the lesser of two evils, I believe. I think that's what they say.
Yeah, that is the saying. The lesser of two evils.
Yeah, the lesser of two evils. So, I don't think I would operate on that way in terms of politicians, or I would try not to operate on that way in general. But I would say for the general audience, for the general people who are voting, yeah, it's like you have to operate on that way if you're planning on voting, or if you're planning on going out and supporting a specific person. And yeah, so you just got to be prepared to be disappointed and but also impressed by some of the things that they're doing, because actually, no one is going to be perfect, really. No one is going to be perfect, so therefore, yeah, just got to operate on what's best for the country and what's best for the economy. But even still, if you pick the best person, I don't think the economy is going to get any better. I feel like it's actually getting worse. I'll be honest. You know what I found? I'll be honest. In the United States, someone paid $30 for two burgers and some fries yesterday.
Yeah.
This was at Five Guys. Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, bro, you paid $30 for that. I told this guy, like, you might as well just, you should have gotten more food. You're already paying, like, an arm and a leg for that. It's like, I don't know, but it's like, yeah, the economy, I don't think it's gonna get better. It's only gonna get worse. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that's all I gotta say about, like, just elections in general and, like, Canada. But do you have anything?
Well, of course, it's a big day, but I will say this. When the Liberals announced that they will retain their majority, well, actually, the current Canadian government's in actually a coalition with the NDP. Once the election in Canada is over and Liberals do get a majority, I'm not saying there would be much of a difference, but I'm certainly not saying not everything would be the same. And the thing is, and as much as people don't want to admit this, what much difference is there? Especially if there's a central left and a central right party being one of the two that gets into power. You're not going to get much difference. There has to be some form of collaboration with other parties, and there has to be other unique perspectives that can see problems that most people don't see. Even if there is somewhat of a difference in Canada after the general election, we're still where we've left off. And I think there isn't much progress going to be done if that's the way it will go.
Yeah, like, there's nothing wrong in what you said, and for the most part, I agree with everything that you said. I mean, it all really just depends at the end of the day on how things go. And yeah, like, there's definitely nothing wrong. There's definitely nothing that you said that was wrong. So yeah, I just 100% agree. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Yes, there is.
All right,
Trump says he's bringing Columbus Day back.
Columbus Day.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even remember that being a day. But then
You never
again,
heard of it?
actually, I probably vaguely heard of it when I was younger, but I never paid attention to it. What
Okay.
what's it about?
Alright, so President Trump said Sunday in a post on Truth Social that he's bringing Columbus Day back. I'm bringing Columbus Day back. From the ashes, the Democrats did everything possible to destroy Christopher Columbus. His reputation,
Okay, that name sounds familiar now. Okay,
yes,
yeah. I didn't remember it. Christopher Columbus. Okay,
yes. His reputation, and all of the Italians love him so much, Trump said in his post.
okay. I'm not familiar with how the Democrats try to destroy his reputation, but
Neither am I.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with how they tried to destroy his reputation. But I'm going to just take Trump's word. You know what? I'll look up. Actually, yeah, it's been a while since I've heard that name, Christopher Columbus. Dang, that's probably why I didn't remember. That's probably why
Wow.
I didn't remember. But it's like, now that you said his full name, it's like, okay, I think I kind of do remember, like, that day. But it's like, it's a very vague memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I have not heard the name Christopher Columbus in a long time. So, it's like, yeah. But I would say, hey, man, if you want to bring back that day, fine. You know, I Yeah, once more, it's like, man, I completely forgot that was a day, that was even a day to celebrate. Why did they, like, make Christopher Colum? Why did they make a Columbus Day anyways? Like, what was? Huh? I know it's to celebrate some accomplishments that he's done, but it's like, I gotta look into, like, what accomplishments, like, where they celebrating.
The accomplishment that made Christopher Columbus well known by Americans is that people say that Christopher Columbus was the guy that discovered America.
Oh, okay, huh? Okay, that does that actually does kind of vaguely ring a bell. I'm pretty sure I learned that in school. Yeah, actually, no, I definitely did learn that in school. That it vaguely rings a bell, but it definitely rings a bell. Okay, yeah, all right. I just wonder what Trump meant by the Democrats try to ruin his reputation.
Yeah, that's what I want to know too.
Yeah, like did they call him a racist or something? Like, is that it? Is that it? Like, I'm confused on that part. But other than that, it's like, yeah, just like now that we're talking about this now, it's starting to like ring a bell.
Well, I've heard a couple incidences from a few people that Christopher Columbus, upon discovering America, well, before he came to continental America, he visited one of the Caribbean islands where there were original natives on those islands. When Christopher Columbus first discovered those couple of Caribbean islands, it was said that I've heard roughly that he encountered a tribe. He thought they were savages, and potentially and allegedly he wanted most of them dead. Not all of the natives on those Caribbean islands, but I've heard that there was some ugly confrontation between Columbus and the natives living on those Caribbean islands.
Gotcha. Okay, That's probably what Trump is referring to. Then has to be.
Yeah, and I understand why the Democrats would try to destroy Columbus' reputation based on the fact that, based on his encounter with the original natives. So I can see where the Democrats are coming from with Columbus.
Yeah, I can kind of see it a little bit. I can kind of see it a little bit too. But at the same time, it's like it was a different time,
Yeah,
and it's like I don't think. I mean, we live in the 21st century, so it's like I don't think we should be holding. I mean, don't get it twisted. You should definitely take into account if what he did was sick and inhumane,
yeah.
and
There are better ways of handling these situations for sure.
yeah, definitely. I agree. I mean, like, yeah, if you didn't want a specific like group of people being somewhere, it's like, yeah, there are definitely better ways of handling it. But at the time, I guess that wasn't really necessarily their thinking. So therefore, it's like you kind of have to also take that into account as well. I mean, obviously, like we've come very far as our thinking goes, and as far as everything else goes. So it's like, therefore, it's like, yeah, you also have to kind of take into account the times that they were living in, and not, and still obviously think about that, but like not be angry about it. I don't. Christopher Columbus is not living anymore. He's not living anymore, so I don't really think that's worth being angry about.
Yeah,
Because it's like I don't know. It's like if you're getting angry about what a dead man did in the past and you weren't even alive, then yeah, it's like I do not think that's worth getting like up in arms about.
yeah,
That's just
exactly.
my yeah huh
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. It's like that's just my opinion though. I mean, yeah, it's like I would say like for instance like if you're angry about slavery, it's just why you're angry though. It's justified why you're angry about that. But once again, it's like you just gotta aspire to be better, you know, a better person, and like you just gotta aspire to like not want to do that or not want to put a specific group of people through that, whether if it's black, white, Asian, Hispanic, anybody really, Jewish, you know, just just not put a specific group of people through that. It's like you just gotta aspire to be better. That's really all. That's really the only way I can put it. Aspire to be better than like our forefathers or our ancestors or our founding fathers and anybody really. That's really all you can do. Is just be better.
Indeed.
Obviously talk about it, but just don't get emotional about it because it happened. It's over. The people who you're angry at are dead. So it's like there's no point in just. I would say even if they were alive, there's no point in cursing them out. But the fact that they're dead, there's definitely no point in cursing them out. But yeah, it's like Christopher Columbus Day. If he wants to bring it back, then I get the Democrats' perspective, but also it's like I don't think I'm really gonna be celebrating Christopher Columbus Day. I mean, unless maybe that's a day off of work, maybe. But for me, it's whatever. It's whatever. Honestly, it's just kind of whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
if it's brought back, it's brought back. If it's not brought back, it's not brought back. It won't affect me in any way unless it does. So, it is what it is.
and it was what it was.
Exactly. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Ultra-processed foods may be linked to early death.
You think?
And
Huh.
what do you think?
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. And it also makes sense why we can't why half of us aren't living up to be like 100 and something years old anymore. It makes
Yeah,
sense. It does
it
make
does make
sense
sense, yes.
because it's like I don't know. We used to live a whole lot longer than what we used to live a whole lot longer than how we're living. Now we're just living up to be 80, which is not a bad age to live up to be honest, or 90, which is also not a bad age to live up to be honest. But it's like we used to live far beyond that. Like we used to live long lives, but now it's like I think processed foods definitely do have is definitely a contributor into our declining lifespan. So I mean, I would say like there is no way. I'll be honest. Now you could live a healthy life and without processed foods, but I think because processed foods are so easy to get to and to just get from the store, that most people aren't gonna want to just do like try to seek out just non-processed foods. It's just easily accessible, easily accessible to get to, if I'm using that word correctly. Easy access to get to because of the stores and our modern conveniences and all that stuff. But yeah, what are your thoughts on how ultra processed foods are a contributor to our declining lifespan?
It's an outrage. It
Yeah,
shouldn't have happened, but here we are.
yeah, I agree. It's definitely an outrage. It definitely shouldn't be like this. And I think we can I personally do think we can make a change. It's just the real question is, do we want to? Are most people willing to make that change? Are most people willing to grow their own foods? Well, maybe not in the city, but out in the land, are people willing to make that change and like grow their own foods or grow their own crops? Or just I don't know, maybe just not even if not even grow, then like probably seek out a place where they don't sell processed foods that they can buy their food from, if such a place even exists. Or I don't know, go to your local farmers market if you can even trust that. Yeah, it's like, are people willing to do that?
Well, if it's convenient enough for them, then of course they would. Because most people don't want to put in the extra effort to get what they want. They like having the convenience to get stuff that they want.
Yeah, I would say even I do too. But yeah, it's like definitely if it leads to early death, yeah, it's like we should definitely take the initiative. But the government knows what they're doing, so therefore it's like if it's easily convenient for people, then yeah, people will get it. People will do it. People will seek out that food rather than just trying to just seek out the natural things that keeps us alive for a long period of time. Because I would say this: most people love living. Most people, I would say, I don't want to say most people are afraid of death. Most people just don't think about death. Actually, no, that could also be linked to being afraid of it. Most people don't think about when they're going to die because it's like they see that as like a very depressing thought. I mean, but it's like it's like yeah, it's like if you want to live as long as possible, then seek out the healthy stuff. Then maybe you can live to be 100 and something years old. Maybe, hopefully, shoot. I'll be honest. I'd be man. It would be pretty cool if I lived to be 130.
It sure will be.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't know what I would do with all that time. But it'd be cool. That'd be a cool thing to do. I don't think I'm gonna live that long. But living up to be 100 would be a great achievement. I'd be one of the. I would be one of, not the oldest, but one of the oldest people in the world. And
So true.
yeah, I don't know if there's anybody out there who lives up to be like in their hundreds though. I think there's still a little. There's some people who live up to be like that age, but I think most of them did die. And if there's somebody out there who is alive out there, well, some yeah, if there's somebody out there who's like in their hundreds and living still and kicking, then that's great. That is great. But it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Austrian climber dies on Nepal mountain.
Okay, what else is in regards to that news?
An Austrian climber has died while descending Nepal's Ahmedabad after a successful summit, the country's tourism department said on Monday.
That is that is honestly very unfortunate. I mean,
It is, yeah.
a man died, but then again, like he took a risk and he unfortunately died for it. My thoughts are with his family and friends.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it's like it's just a sad thing. But he probably knew that was gonna potentially happen, and it did happen. Me personally, I don't think I'd be able to do that. But there are definitely people who will still do that, knowing the risks, knowing what's potentially going to happen. And yeah, it's just a very unfortunate thing to see. But I hope that he at least accomplished his goal before before plummeting. And that's all I can really say. It's just unfortunate. But yeah, my thoughts are with his family and friends, and I hope he is resting in peace.
Yes.
But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Mediobanca hits back in Italy's bank M&A war with $7 billion Banca Generali bid.
Interesting. Anything more in regards to that news?
Italian bank Mediobanca announced a €6.3 billion bid to acquire wealth manager Banca Generali. This offer emerges amid a wave of Italian banking consolidation and helps Mediobanca counter a takeover attempt by state-backed NPS.
Interesting. Do you have any initial thoughts on that?
Nothing too concrete, just hopefully that whatever financial state that goes on in Mediobanca is restored and the financial freedoms of the Italian people is brought back once again, and all the Italians shall prosper for who knows how long.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. I really have no initial concrete thoughts on that. I'm just gonna hope that everybody is satisfied and everybody just prospers the way they want to prosper. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, I just hope everyone gets what they want at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is there anything else in the news? What happened?
Just Stop Oil march in London on last day of action.
I'm sorry, what? An oil march?
Yep. Just Stop Oil march in London on the last day of action.
What are they marching about oil for?
A van appears to have driven slowly into Just Stop Oil protesters as hundreds marched through London for their last day of action.
I'm not gonna lie, people march for the dumbest reasons. What? What is this oil even? What's this cause for? Oil? Like, are we running out of oil? Like, what's going on here?
I think they just want us to stop using oil.
Why?
Well, they say it's bad for the environment.
No one is gonna stop using oil.
Exactly.
No one is going. Oh, you were saying?
I was going to say, even if there is some impact from extracting oil, if we don't do anything about extracting the oil from the ground, in the next few years the oil is still going to be there, and also in the next few years there are still going to be people that's going to be like, oh, look, there's oil on the ground. Let's drill it out, baby, and they will drill the oil out. So no matter how often and how much people try to stop using, no matter how many times these protesters tell people to not use oil, there's going to be people at some point in time that's going to extract the oil, drill it from the ground, and then use it for whatever they use oil for. Until eventually, we ran out of oil and we have to stick to some kind of alternative plan B. And what is that plan B? No one knows because no one has ever thought about it because not many people are thinking that not many people have thought that there would be such a plan in the next few years where oil is no longer a thing because most of the oil are mostly fossilized. They they've been underground for millions of years. If we want to recreate that same oil again, we have to wait another million more years. And get this, we're not gonna live for that long.
So it won't even really matter then.
Yes, even if we try to do something, not many people, or at least many generations, would have the patience to wait that long to recreate the fossilized oil to take out of the ground and use for whatever they want to use it for.
Yeah, that is true. So it's like, these oil markets are just they're just straight up ridiculous. Then like, what do they want us to use? Like, I'll be honest. Does this involve like oil, like just oil for motor vehicles, or just like cooking oil in general?
It's not just oil that powers cars. I've heard a while back that petroleum oil, there are some types of petroleum oil that have been used to make plastic. Not sure what kind of plastic, but there are a few amount of plastics that are made from petroleum oil based substances.
You know what? I will say this. Maybe in some aspects they do have a point. Maybe in some aspects they do have a point. I mean,
Yeah,
oil doesn't need to be used for everything. I
but
mean, shoot,
there isn't going to be much oil left in the next few years.
that's true. That is true. I mean, shoot. I mean, there was a guy who made a car. I think he made a car where it's like, dang, I forgot. But I think he made a car where it's like you didn't need oil, but then he got killed.
Yeah,
Then he got killed for it,
yeah, that was a very, very sad day.
and that was a very also it was very generational for that time period.
Exactly.
Yeah, then he got killed, and like then the invention never really released. And shoot, they might have collected it and have been keeping it in like either they kept it or it's like just it's not gonna happen anytime soon whatsoever.
Maybe, and this is maybe, they might have kept the plans for whatever new form of fuel for vehicles could be. The thing is, they want to wait when the time is right to promote this new type of fuel for vehicles. And the thing is, the reason why the person that made this new type of fuel, but then got unalived for being the person that created it, is that they don't care or mind too much about new types of innovations that will make people's life better, so long as the people on top can make a profit out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, once they come out of the woodworks with this man, and all the conspiracy theorists are going to just
They're gonna lose it.
yeah, they're gonna lose it. They're gonna jump on this like
We're right! Let's celebrate!
yeah, exactly. Except we're gonna. I mean, and I'm pretty sure most people are gonna buy it too. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah, of
people.
course they're gonna buy it.
Yeah, because it's like it's convenient. You don't need oil, but it's gonna be extremely expensive.
Oh yeah, of course. Well,
Wait,
at least at the start it will be expensive, but because of how common this type of fuel could be once it's introduced, it may not. It could be it could be literally dirt cheap. But of course, being dirt cheap gives people on top the freedom to jack the price as high as they want. To say, oh, there's a scarcity, but come on, how can you make a scarcity out of water? Or at least water minus the oxygen.
yeah, I 100% agree with that. And yeah, it's like, yeah. I mean, I'd really have no arguments in what you're saying. It's like it's just true, And for the most part, I'll be honest. Didn't the guy say he can use like water or air for like the cars or something like that?
I think there's a couple of videos where a guy used water to fuel his car, and there's other videos where you just use hydrogen. And to get hydrogen, you just get water, but you have to extract the oxygen out of the liquid, and then you get the hydrogen gas. And I think the hydrogen, although it is unstable, it is just as effective, but also a lot lighter than other traditional fuel sources to power vehicles and whatever are.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, they're probably going to use that within the next couple of years, but they're not going to give it to us yet.
No, they're taking their sweet, sweet time.
They've been taking their
Let
sweet.
let everything unfold, and when the time is right, bam! Just try out this. I don't know what it is, but man, you're going to buy it anyway.
They've been taking their sweet, sweet time for decades.
Yep, they sure have. Maybe a century, but that is it.
Yeah, who knows how long they've had AI for? Shoot, they probably could have been using AI from the jump. Early, possibly 90s, early 2000s. They probably could have been using that from the jump. We just didn't know it.
Yes, yeah, that could be the case. But of course, they
But
have to plan things out to make headlines, get us excited, jumping on our feet, and other stuff like that.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, even if they were using it for themselves, we wouldn't know. We're just guessing and assuming.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, it's like, if is there anything in the news?
Swiss team protests Israeli winners during fencing win.
Huh. Interesting. Is there more on that?
The Swiss under-23 fencing team turned their backs on Israeli competitors during the medal ceremony Saturday in Tallinn, Estonia. The action occurred after Israel defeated Switzerland in the final during the playing of Israel's national anthem. The incident drew criticisms, and Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar condemned the Swiss team's behavior. A representative of the Israel Fencing Association stated, "Sport should bring people together, not divide them." Swiss Fencing will discuss the incident with the team after they return and decide on any necessary measures.
Any initial thoughts on that?
Honestly, I'm a bit mixed about this. On one hand, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and everyone has every right to speak out on whatever global conflict is going on in this world. But on the other hand, even if you have every right and you are entitled to express your opinions, what I just read, it just comes off as immature. And I'm not defending people who would have opinions that opposes what opinions the Swiss team has. I'm just saying that even if you disagree with them so much, what's the point? You don't you don't showcase the you don't have to they didn't have to act the way they did. They didn't have to behave the way they did. They can still express their opinions. They can go against what's going on in Israel and Gaza. I mean, honestly, I think there are better ways of venting or expressing opinions like that without having to resort to such behavior like that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm still mixed with all of this. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. They don't have to agree with what goes on in the world. But personally, from experience, I think there are better ways of showcasing yourself and presenting yourself and reacting to whatever the situation is as it happened than what has been read on here right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's definitely better ways to express your opinions or, discomfort with things. Constructive. There's a better and more constructive way to express your criticisms than how that it was expressed there. But at the end of the day, most people will have their opinions. You just kind of have to know how to express it in a constructive way where even if it does offend people, they can say at the end of the day, you know what? All right, this person, although I disagree with this person, he was at least respectful in how he said it or how she said it. It's like there's a good way to there's a good and bad way to express your opinions. There's a good and bad way to express how you feel about about a specific like a group of people, or about a, like a specific subject that's in the air, or that's in the news. Most people like myself, the majority of people are not over this. Like myself, I just want peace on both sides. Like you too. You just want peace on both sides, right? Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's like even if you have your opinions, it's like just better way. Like do better. It's just you don't have to do it in an immature way. We're all adults here. We're all men and women. So therefore, it's like yeah, just like do it in a way where it does not where you're not trying it make it see don't make it seem like you're just trying to get a reaction. Make it seem like you're actually trying to have a that tough conversation that most people don't want to have, or that most people would want to have, and like just challenge their ideas. But at the end of the day, it just depends on who the person is, who the messenger is, and how they bring that message about. But yeah, it's like it's just unfortunate that we're in this time that we're dealing with this, but there's not much that we can do about it. All we can do is just let it be, and let whatever happens, even like whether if like people fight or not. All we can do is just like watch and wait and see what happens. I don't want to say bring our popcorn out, because then that would just mean we're just like kind of looking at it as entertainment, but that's not the case. But yeah, it's like all we can do is just sit back and watch what happens next. I hope
Yeah,
everything gets resolved, but obviously it's going to be a long time before that happens. Shoot, it might even be 14 years later. Who knows?
yeah,
I would hope not, because I think like because I'm already over it. It's like imagine how I'm gonna feel in 14 years. I'm gonna be like, finally, it's like I'm gonna just yeah. So that's all I gotta say about that. Yes, but yeah, there's no real initial thoughts from me. Just handle it better. That's all I gotta say. Handle it better.
indeed.
But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Chinese factories are stopping production and looking for new markets as US tariffs hit.
Man, we've been hearing about these tariffs all week.
Yep,
Goodness. Okay.
crikey.
Yeah, it's like all because of U.S. tariffs, huh?
Yep.
All right. Let's hear what else let's hear what else they have to say about that.
Chinese manufacturers are pausing production and turning to new markets as the impact of US tariffs sets in, according to companies and analysts. The lost orders are also hitting jobs. I'm just waiting to see what else there is. China is once again proving it can't be trusted as a reliable business partner, with Chinese airlines now refusing to take delivery of Boeing aircraft in the middle of the escalating US-China trade standoff. Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg revealed on CNBC Wednesday that 3 Boeing 737 MAX airplanes had been ready for delivery in China, but Beijing's retaliation over President Donald Trump's tariffs left the planes grounded. Boeing has already flown 2 of the aircraft back to the United States and plans to reclaim the third plane soon. President Trump took to Truth Social to encourage Boeing to quote-unquote default China over the breach, demanding it better stop now. A strong signal that American companies should hold foreign bad actors accountable.
Wow. I will say this: China is definitely entitled to do whatever they want, and there's two sides to the story. I'm pretty sure China has a reason why they stopped production. I mean, they probably just didn't agree with the tariffs, or it's just this and that, etc. But who really does truly know why, right? Who really does truly know why? I mean, but yeah, I would say at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure something will be figured out, and we just have to wait and see what happens and how they will figure it out, and that's all we can do.
Yes?
I wouldn't really know what else to do in this situation. That's all we can do is just wait and see.
So true.
Yeah. So yeah, is there anything else in the news?
IBM to invest $150 billion in United States over the next 5 years to aid quantum push.
Okay. Oh, is there anything more on that news?
Enterprise tech giant IBM says it plans to invest $150 billion in the United States over the next 5 years, including $30 million in R&D.
Huh. That is a lot of money. That is very interesting as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot. And I do wish them the best of luck. And I honestly wish them nothing but success. Obviously, it's a huge risk, but with huge risks, a greater,
Yeah.
or most of the time. I don't really know how lucky people are in terms of that, but yeah, with great risk comes great reward, or greater reward. And yeah, I just wish them the best of luck. Nothing more. How
And
about,
nothing less.
yeah, nothing more, nothing less. But yeah, yeah. Do you have any thoughts?
Nothing, not much thoughts. It's just, well, hopefully all goes well, and hopefully they don't do anything naughty, because I'm just saying, you never know with all that money, something impactful is going to happen to us that we may not see coming.
Hey, that's true. That is true. So let's just hope that they continue to do what they got to do for the best of the business and nothing illegal or naughty, as you say.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, it's like I just wish them the best of luck. That's all we can do. Wish them the
yes.
best of luck. But yeah, anything more in the news?
Elon Musk's XAI Holdings in talks to raise $20 billion from investors.
Oh wow, Elon Musk, our free speech king.
Is he though?
Of course he is. I mean, he saved Twitter from the woke mind virus.
Even if it's true, it's not enough.
I mean, he brought Kanye West back on X. He brought Donald J. Trump, the 45th president, back on X. I mean, he brought he brought former people back on. He at one point he brought Leafy is here back on X.
Who cares?
I mean, it's like, but Leafy is like, Leafy got banned unjustly.
Life goes on.
You know what? And although Leafy says he didn't care, I was still glad that he's brought back. But then he got banned again.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I think he actually still is banned. I mean, he was back on X for a bit of time, but then it's like he got banned again.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, but
Oh well.
that's true. But he brought Andrew Tate back, the top.
There's always a price.
Why aren't you more excited about this?
Everything's an illusion, man.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in all seriousness, though, it's like I'll be honest. Like maybe like back then when it was actually quote unquote exciting, then sure. But there's nothing really special about Andrew Tate being back on X, or he was back on X for about the last couple of years now. So really, who cares? And you know what? I was gonna say he brought back Sneeko, but I don't think that's really. I have nothing against. I don't have nothing against the guy, but I don't think that's really worth saying. I'm pretty sure he's a good guy, though. I'm sure the guy's a great guy. But anyways, yeah, it's like yeah, like Elon Musk is our free speech king. You know, yes, I mean, sure, he probably banned some people, but he did it for the right reasons. They abused their free speech. But yeah, in all seriousness, though, I mean, yeah, it's like Elon Musk trying to raise that amount of money. I will say this. Well, I don't really care that much about Elon Musk. I'll just wish him the best of luck in trying to raise that amount of money. That's all I can.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I mean, good luck. Hopefully, he can raise it. I mean, or I don't know. Maybe just take it out of your own pocket. Shoot, he's a billionaire, ain't he?
Yeah, he is. And in fact, he's currently the richest man in the world.
Yeah, so you just take it out of your own pocket, can't you?
Yeah, but I think the reason why he's likely asking for investments, because the funding rounding could become the second largest startup funding round ever, following OpenAI's $40 billion raised last month.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Well,
So
it's between Musk or Altman.
that's true. So you know what, Elon? Good luck. We're trying to get the investments, and also it's probably not wise to spend your own money on that. Just yeah, I mean, if you can't get investment, then you would have to spend your own money. But you know, good luck with getting your good luck with getting investors to invest. That's all I gotta say. And also, is he still part of like Doge, or is he kind of?
Yeah, he's still part of the Department of Government Efficiency, for now at least.
Gotcha. Okay. Not gonna lie, Elon is not a politician, bro. He should have just stuck with X, Tesla, and I'll be honest. Why did he name it Tesla? I know there was someone called. I know there was someone who went by the last name like Tesla, right?
Yeah, Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, Nikola Tesla. Does that have any like correlation?
I'm thinking that could be the correlation, but I don't think Musk himself has ever confirmed it, or at least I don't think I've heard anything about him confirming that was the correlation. I just believe that could be likely the correlation.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not
It
sure.
just makes sense because Nikola Tesla was pioneering electricity. Tesla, mostly Tesla cars, has been a pioneer of electric powered vehicles. So it just makes sense, really.
Yeah, I mean, like it does make sense. Like that's what I was thinking too, because it's like, yeah, there has to be a correlation between the two. And he probably said that he probably named it that in honor of Nikola Tesla. Yeah, because it's like he saw what he was trying. He saw what he was trying to do. So Elon is trying to do the same thing as well. In terms of technology and furthering like technology and the future.
Yes, to infinity and beyond.
Yeah, that.
And Babatunde.
Still don't know what that means.
I'm just saying what comes to my mind all of a sudden.
Okay, cool. But anyways, yeah, it's like our free speech king. No, he's not. He's not my king. He's probably other people's kings, but he's not mine.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But anyways, is there anything else in the news?
Conclave to elect new pope set to begin May 7th.
Oh boy, this is a huge day for all the Catholics,
Oh yes.
especially because it's been a while since they've elected a new pope. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would wonder to see who that new pope is. I mean, you know,
Yeah, me too.
yeah. I mean, like, dang, it's still unfortunate that Pope Francis died. Uh,
Yeah.
Obviously, there are certain things that I could say I disagree with him on, but it's always unfortunate when someone dies.
Yeah.
You know, and but I kind of I mean, considering the fact that we were talking about all of his health issues and the fact that he was in the hospital and it was hard for him to do certain things, it was inevitable. It was unfortunately inevitable, and it was going to happen regardless. But at the end of the day, it's like
At least at least he still pulled through in his last few days.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's like it's gonna definitely be something. It's definitely gonna be someday for the Catholics to see who the new pope will be. Shoot. I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like if it was like an open thing, if it wasn't specifically for Catholics, I feel like other people. I feel like there would be people who would volunteer to be the pope. And if it didn't have a specific like age range, I feel like too many people would volunteer to be the pope. To be honest, but yeah, it's like yeah, we're gonna see what happens in the next and on May 7th. You said right?
Yes, that's at least the date that the conclave will gather to decide on who's going to be the next pope.
Gotcha. Not gonna lie, it would be so funny. Nah, never mind. Wait, yeah, never mind. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it's like I hope that whoever the new pope is does a great job, and I hope that whoever the new pope is does. I hope that everyone agrees on who that new pope is, and I really do hope that people like the new pope. Obviously, the pope has no correlation with me, but for the Catholics, I hope that they do like whoever that new pope is and will be. But yeah, good luck to the Catholics and good luck to whoever that new pope will be. I wish them all the best of luck. Nothing less.
And so on.
And so on. Exactly. But yeah, anything else in the news?
North Korea confirms it sends fighters to Ukraine as Putin publicly thanks them.
Really? Why?
North Korea has now confirmed what the United States believed for months, that it was sending troops to Ukraine to fight alongside the Russian military. Following North Korea's confirmation, Russian President Vladimir Putin thanked North Korea for its help. The US, Ukraine, and South Korean intelligence agencies had said that North Korea supplied them between 10,000 and 12,000 troops into Russia. Until now, there had been no confirmation.
You know what? Sometimes all of this doesn't seem real. It really doesn't at times.
Yeah, just sounds like a fantasy.
It does. It really does. But it's like,
But they still happen anyway.
yeah, they still definitely happen. None of this sounds real. None of this sounds like it's even reality, or it would have. None of this sounds like it would have happened years ago. If I'm being honest with you, but dang, I'm not gonna root for anybody. I'm just gonna say good luck to the North Koreans who are going out to help Russia, and good luck to any soldier who is out there in battle. You know what? Yeah, good luck to Ukraine. Good luck to Russia. Good luck to the United States. Good luck to you said North Korea.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, North Korea. Good luck to all of you. I don't want any of you to die, but it's gonna happen, unfortunately. It's like I said, if I was in war, man, I wouldn't even compete. I'd be hiding in fact, I would be hiding the entire time. I don't know. It seems like the smart thing to do. And I'd be honest with my kids, so I'm like, son, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was hiding the entire time because I didn't want to get shot. It's like it's like that either that or I would just abandon the battlefield entirely. Or who knows? Maybe I'll probably. Oh no, who knows? Maybe I'll fight. Maybe I'll. Maybe I would. Maybe I would fight the good fight. Maybe, but there's no telling what I would really. Actually, you know what? It's easy to say that now. There's really no telling what I would do. All I would know is I would try not to die at that moment in time. I also wouldn't want to shoot anybody either, if I'm being honest with you. But we really wouldn't know what I would do. I would just try. I would just try to be. I would be tactical. Like, I would be like, dang, I'd be like Shikamaru from Naruto, where it's like, although he doesn't really fight, he thinks. But yeah, good luck to all of them. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Rare diseases often go undiagnosed or untreated in parts of Africa. A project seeks to change that.
Oh wow, I mean, wow, okay. So rare diseases don't go untreated, but like a project in Africa tends to change that. That's first off, that's great to hear. Second off,
Yes, fantastic.
yeah, that is fantastic. Yeah, and second off, is there anything like more on the news?
India Lam visits the cemetery often, praying and gently touching the seashells laid out across her daughter's gravesite. Mariama will always be here, she said, stepping away from the grave and onto a path that winds through rows of monuments outlined with white tile, stone, and sand. At home, Lam and her husband, Batsir, smiled over an old video clip of her daughter, beaming as she celebrated her 13th birthday with cake and sparklers. When the girl was little, she loved to play. By 13, her muscles had weakened, her spine had curved and stiffened, and in her last months, she struggled increasingly to breathe.
Wow, that is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
I would say no one. I would say like a child should never have to lose their life at that early age, and parents should never have to go through that. But you know, there's really nothing that they could have done because of the rare diseases that cause that. I would say it's great that they're taking initiative on it now, so that wouldn't have to ever happen again, and that can be a thing of the past. But definitely like thoughts and prayers are with that family, and yeah, it's like rest in peace, that little, yeah, because like at the end of the day, like no one should have to. But there's a bright side though. They're trying to fix that. They are trying to fix that. That's really all you can do is just try to fix that so it can never happen again. Or if it does happen again, just like it can be a rarity, a huge rarity.
Yeah.
But yeah. Is there anything else in the news?
They found a German novelist shot dead, bestseller in his houseboat.
Wow, in his houseboat. I want to know how. Did someone like snipe him or like?
German police had launched a murder investigation after a best-selling novelist was found dead on her houseboat in Hamburg.
Wow, her houseboat. Okay,
Yeah,
that is unfortunate. I
it's
wonder
really
who.
sad.
Yeah, it is very sad, and it's like I would hope that I would hope that she's resting in peace. Wow, three dead people. First the guy on the mountain, second the kid, and third, and now her. Wow, that.
Sad. It's a sad day for a lot of people.
It really is. I know that a lot of people don't make it to see it today, which is why we got to cherish every single day. It's a blessing every single day to be alive. Yeah, it's like I would wonder who would have the motivation to want to kill her. That's what I would wonder. That's really what I'm wondering. On our houseboat too. That is yikes. But yeah, it's like I would hope that they're successful in their investigation and find out who the killer is. I mean, if it's one thing if they were on the boat, then maybe you can find some clues. But ultimately speaking, if they sniped, you could probably still find some clues. There are clever people who would know where the shot came from. But yeah, it's like yeah, I just hope that this case gets solved and like whoever her family and friends were, my thoughts are with them. I've said that like 3 times today, like in this one episode. But yeah, my thoughts are with them though. I hope they solve.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts?
Well, other than what you've just said, I don't think there's anything else. I would say what you just said.
Yeah, yeah, like pretty much. Yeah, that's all you. Yeah, it's pretty much all like there is to say. Unfortunately. Yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Loss of FEMA program spells disaster for hundreds of communities and their projects.
Oh wow, is there more in the news?
Yes. Disasters affect the vast majority of Americans. 95% live in a county that has had a federally declared weather disaster since 2011, said Amy Chester, director of Rebuild by Design, a non-profit focused on disaster prevention.
Oh man, we've been talking about natural disasters a lot lately, huh?
Yes, they are happening all over the place.
That's true. That is more than true. And I will say this, and this is the fourth time I'm saying this. My thoughts and prayers are with any family who has went through any natural disasters or any deaths in their families. And also, yeah, it's like I would say like we got to take the correct approach to like stuff like this because it is not something to just gloss over because it affects families everywhere. It affects families everywhere and also it's like and also it just generally is a bad situation for anybody who lives in areas that are very prone to just weather disasters. And I will say that I hope the right I will say approaches are made to fix this problem. Well, there's going to really be never fixing a problem, to be honest. There's really never going to be a fixing to a problem. There's always going to be something that comes up. But ultimately speaking, there's just going to be, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's like, yeah, it's like, you can minimize the problem, but there's really going to be no fixing the problem. And, yeah, that's all I got to say. But, yeah, is there anything else in the news?
BBC reporter witnesses junta violating a ceasefire.
Violating a ceasefire, huh?
Yes.
Hear more about that.
It's loading. Myanmar marked 1 month since a magnitude 7.7 earthquake on Monday, with devastation centered on Mandalay. The quake struck a nation already enduring 4 years of civil war sparked by a 2021 coup.
Interesting. Do you have any, like, initial thoughts on that?
Man, Myanmar just can't catch a break. Civil war, natural disasters.
Amen.
People in Myanmar have already suffered enough. It's
Amen.
outrageous.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I thought you had like more to say. Sorry.
Oh no, that's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, I will say this, like, for the most part, yeah, most people can't catch a break, but what are you really gonna do? You know, it's unfortunate, but a lot of unfortunate things happen in this life. And I will say this, man, it's like, we can fix it, but the real question is, does anybody really want to fix it? Does anybody really want to stop certain things from happening? Most, yes, but others, no, because they see it as the answer. But yeah, it's just an unfortunate. This whole episode has been unfortunate circumstances. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, it's just been very unfortunate for a lot of people. But yeah, and all we can do is just report about it, spread awareness, but also just sit and watch. But yeah,
Very true.
yeah, exactly. Is there anything else in the news?
That's us.
All right, peace.
Peace.